So a little over a week ago, EA released Plants vs. Zombies Replanted, a remaster of the original Plants vs. Zombies. It was announced kind of out of nowhere back in July of this year, during a Nintendo Direct partner showcase of all things. It was nothing more than a new animated trailer, showcasing Crazy Dave playing the game that was now in HD with the addition of local co-op. But strangely enough, the trailer didn't mention the game having any new content or game modes, even though it did. Shortly after the announcement, EA stated that the game was going to have new levels and modes, but I thought it was weird that they didn't directly announce it in the trailer. That's called foreshadowing. But that was really all we knew about the game pre-release. A very vague description for arguably the biggest release Plants vs. Zombies has had in recent memory. Nonetheless, the game was released on October 23rd, and after a week of playing, I can confidently say, it is Plants vs. Zombies again. I should probably start off by saying that I've played the original Plants vs. Zombies at least 20 times. On mobile, the DS, Xbox 360, the fucking touchscreen you get at Chili's, you name a device, I have played Plants vs. Zombies on it. So when it came to playing just the base game again, I knew what I was getting myself into. But that's not to say it's exactly the same as the other versions. Like the trailer mentioned, the game now runs at a much smoother frame rate, even supporting 4K, which is more than enough for Plants vs. Zombies. Additionally, there's also a new fast forward feature in the bottom right corner here, which honestly might be the best new thing that they added. Plants vs. Zombies 2 had a similar fast forward button, but that only let you toggle between on and off. But the one here in Replanted lets you pick from 3 different speeds, and considering how slow the early game can be in some of these levels, I'd argue this feature is essential for most players. But outside of those 2 features, the main game is virtually the same as it's always been. No, the majority of the new content is found within the Adventure tab. We still have the standard day, night, pool, fog, and roof levels, but we also have 3 new additions: Cloudy Day, RIP mode, and bonus levels, which kind of really isn't new, but I'm still going to talk about it. Cloudy Day I was very interested to try out, as it sounded like it was going to be the next stage of difficulty right after roof levels. But in terms of difficulty, it's actually kind of in the middle. You get 12 new levels in this mode, 4 on the front lawn, 4 in the backyard, and 4 on the roof. Your day starts off normal, but throughout the level you'll have to deal with these incoming storms. And while these storms do eventually go away, you can't produce any sun during them. Additionally, all of your plants become much cheaper during these storms, as well as having faster reload times. So you might find yourself trying to save up as much sun as possible for the next storm, which makes you think about the game in a pretty different way. But I would have loved to see this mode expanded on further. Maybe having nighttime plants be active during the storms would have added another layer to it, or maybe even having plants working faster or slower depending on the weather could have been a cool addition. There also isn't an endless mode specifically for Cloudy Day, which I thought would be a no-brainer, but I guess EA didn't think so. Sitting behind Cloudy Day, we have the bonus levels, which are the hidden modes or levels that got cut in the original versions of Plants vs. Zombies. I can kind of see why. These include art challenges, which require you to plant in certain areas of the lawn in order to complete the level. There's Unsodded, which removes the outer strips of grass, making it so you can only plant in the middle 3 lanes, which really means you're only going to be using Starfruit or 3-peater. Big Time, where, you guessed it, all the plants are big. Actually, that's not the case. The bigger sunflowers do give you more sun, the bigger walnuts are much stronger, but the rest of the plants don't do anything. Kinda lame. There's Air Raid, which is just a level with a bunch of balloon zombies. A surprisingly difficult level for such an easy concept. I'm not ashamed to admit I couldn't complete this one without the lawnmowers. There's Gravedigger, a night level with a couple more graves than usual. This one's also kinda lame. Can You Dig It, which is just a whole lawn filled with walnuts that you eventually replace with pea shooters. And Dark Stormy Night, which is a similar level to the final fog level, so if you want epilepsy, this is the way to go. And that's all the bonus levels there are. But there's still one mode I haven't talked about: the RIP mode. The RIP mode is essentially Plants vs. Zombies hardcore mode. You only get 1 shot to complete each level in the adventure mode, and if you fail, then you failed. Your run is completely over. Now these are still the same levels from the story, so they're not incredibly difficult or anything, but you only get 1 lawnmower at random at your disposal, so it adds a little challenge if you think you need it. There are also new sound effects in this mode, so every time you lose a plant, you hear this. Good God. Outside of the Adventure tab, the only new thing is the local co-op, which is local co-op. You get half the plants, the other player gets the other half. And that's pretty much it for Plants vs. Zombies Replanted. Not a whole bunch of new content for a re-release of a 16-year-old game. So did it warrant getting a remaster all these years later? Probably not. But I think it's nice going back to this game once in a while. It's a classic that now looks better than it ever has. And I'll play this game on anything besides going back to the ads on mobile. Yes, including the Chili's touchscreen.